Hi, and welcome to winter in Hokkaido, Japan. I love photographing in Japan, but I haven't been back there since February 2020 because Japan was closed, as you know, because of COVID. The good news is that I will be back in early 2023 to shoot some more stories. But in the meantime, I have one more story that I want to share with you that was shot pre-COVID about me trying to do street photography in a snowstorm. This is the city of Mombetsu in northern Hokkaido. Now, I'm not a masochist. I didn't actually plan to do street photography in these conditions. So what happened? On a 7-day winter road trip across northern Hokkaido, this was the weather on the first day. It gave me a false sense of how easy this trip was going to be. 4 days into the trip, I was travelling to Mombetsu, which was just meant to be an overnight stop. On the way, I stopped at this little port to take some photos, but little did I know that these ominous-looking clouds would be playing havoc with my plans. The following morning, the weather looked less than ideal. But how bad could it be? A quick fuel stop, and I was ready to drive to my next destination, Abashiri. All was well until I reached the edge of town, and this poor chap was the bearer of bad news. Apparently, a severe overnight snowstorm had dumped so much snow that all roads out of Mombetsu were closed at least until the following day. As there was no way I was going to leave Mombetsu today, I returned to the hotel where I'd already checked out. Fortunately, I was able to book a room for another night, but I wouldn't have access to that room for a few hours. So rather than just sitting in the hotel, I decided to go out. The first thing I do when shooting street photography is to look for the best light. But in these conditions, the light is so even that it doesn't really matter where you stand or which direction you point the camera. The light is all the same, very even and flat. The next thing I look for is an interesting background, which becomes the stage for the photo. Then I wait for people to walk through. Not surprisingly, what I discovered was that there weren't many people walking through. I mean, you'd be crazy to be out in this weather if you didn't need to be. The only people that I did see were those that had to be out either clearing snow, working, or going on errands. And there weren't many of those. However, what I discovered was that there was a stark, otherworldly feel to these frozen, empty streetscapes. The buildings looked like ghosts of buildings past. Normally for street photography, I would switch between a couple of prime lenses on my Fujifilm camera. But I knew that changing lenses and keeping the sensor clean would be challenging in conditions like these. So instead, I just used my 16 to 55mm Fujifilm zoom lens. The zoom worked out really well. Not just because there was no lens changing, but because this lens is weather resistant. And it gave me instant access to a range of focal lengths to react to any situation. The other thing that I realised is that even if you're properly dressed, and I probably could have done with another layer or two, you can only be out in this weather for a short while. You need pit stops at places like your hotel or local shops or cafes where you can warm up. I walked to the local shopping centre, and after getting some lunch and warming up a bit there, I decided to check out the view from the roof car park. I only realised how bad the Mombetsu snowstorm was when I saw the story in the evening national news. I really felt for these people. I was choosing to be out in these conditions, but this is what they have to endure for months every year. I first noticed the cute dog, then the gloves. Now, why is that dog carrying the umbrella? Can the weather get any worse? I got quite excited whenever I saw someone on the street. Here I took multiple shots. I like this one because the woman's stride matches the sign on the bowling alley. There are very few things that television presenter Joanna Lumley and I have in common, but we have both been to Mombetsu. This is where Joanna Lumley began her epic Japan adventure, in far better weather than I had. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that I loved every minute of taking these photos. But I'd never taken photos quite like this before. And looking back at them, I feel privileged to have been able to witness and document a small slice of winter life here. Would I plan another blizzard street photography shoot? Well, realistically, it's pretty hard to plan unless you happen to be at the right place when one of these snowstorms is coming through. I will be back in Hokkaido in February 2023, and if I encounter conditions like these, do you think I'll be out taking photos? Of course. Meanwhile, while Japan was closed, I travelled to Greece, and I will be uploading Photo Explore Greece videos over the next few weeks. And after that, business as usual with more Japan Photo Explore videos. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.